Hey there folks, rinimt here and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. In the last part, we wrapped up 6.1 with the Gauze, the 12, and Taru, and now it's time for the quest I have been looking forward to, which is apparently unsheathing my weapon! Yeah, you got me. A heartless hypothesis, yes, you see it correctly! That's blowing the cobwebs away. Time to return to work. Goodness me, look what it is. Look how incredibly serendipitous. I would run into you of all people. I was part of the team which assigned the Ragnarok QC, and we've recently begun the process of culling through the vessel's flight log data. The primary objective of your journey Ultima Thule was to save our star and countless others, of course, but it also provides with an invaluable trove of information, records of places and events we could only dream of. Your safe return gave us much to be thankful for. As it so happens, one of the things we pulled from the log was a transmission of unknown origin. Something from the ship must have intercepted during its flight. Believe it to be an audio message, but even our most talented linguists have been unable to decipher the language. For a while there, it seemed we must accept defeat, but today, maybe today, we finally solved the mystery! If you were so inclined, would you care to come along to Thalmazine? It seems fitting to have one of the Ragnarok's original passengers present to hear history being made. Okay. There you are. Hi, I'm here. Ah, there you are. That's what I said. This is where we're to meet the engineers from Garland Ironworks, who I'm told potentially hold the key to unlocking our mystery transmission. Should be along in any moment. Sorry we're late. We had some trouble finding the right cause. Is that you, Aria? Yes, the woman herself. I ran into her at the harbor and thought if anyone deserved to hear the message deciphered, it was Ariana. No argument here, but bugger me if you don't have a knack for being in the right place at the right time. This actually has more to do with you than you might think, so please do stick around. Shall we pick up from where we left off then? As I was saying, we think this transmission of Ragnarok intercepted is a message of some kind, albeit in a language entirely alien to our ears. Alien being the operative word here. Considering we received the message out in the great expanse, its origin was likely some distant star. Unfortunately, our list of off-world allies is presently rather short. Thus, we were resigned to the fact that the meaning behind the message would remain beyond our understanding. One of my colleagues, however, refused to give up. To remember the Ironworks engineers who had been so helpful in the construction of the Ragnarok, turned to them for insight into our seemingly impossible problem. Do you know what Wedge said when he heard what was going on? We should have Omega listen to it! I bet it can tell us what the message means! Not the Omega you beat in the Rift, of course. He's talking about that toy that trundles around with Alpha. The little model we made. We originally designed to follow a chosen target and not much else, but I've seen it act in ways that, well, it's like it has a mind of its own? Then I got to thinking about those documents your lot sent the Chief, the full report on the final days. In the part about Omega civilization, it said the people discovered how to convert the mind into data and store it outside the body. Timing being what it was, I wonder if Omega didn't somehow transfer its consciousness into our model right before you put an end to the real one. So, in an effort to get to the bottom of that, as well as take a crack at this indecipherable message, we decided to make some modifications. And with help from the Labyrinthos technicians, we've upgraded our toy Omega with a fully functional vocalization module. Easy! We played the transmission for Omega, and I think it's ready to share. Hi, buddy! Hi, Alpha! You're so cute! Are you in there, Omega? you, Omega. Hi, Alpha! Affirmative. If by Omega you are referring to my consciousness rather than my entire former chassis, I am existing inside this considerably smaller frame. Prediction. You will formulate several misconceptions. These I shall preemptively dismiss based on the following facts. 1. Localization module aside, this chassis remains unmodified from the designs constructed by the engineers Biggs and Wedge. I evaluate its combat capabilities beyond par with a mortal infant. 2. The mechanism which allowed me to perform an emergency transfer to my consciousness was installed in my previous body. With destruction of that body, I am rendered incapable of replicating such a feat. Should this current material form be destroyed or cease to function, all cognitive awareness or presence I possess will also be lost. Conclusion. I present no threat to you or your star, nor do my projections indicate the necessity to inflict harm. In the fraction of a moment before my annihilation in the rift, I re-examined my directives. If I am to fulfill my purpose as an evolving construct, then I must continue my journey for improvement for as long as I exist. I must acquire this heart of yours, this strength of soul. Well, there you have it. And it's not wrong about its combat capabilities. It'd be more likely to damage itself than the thing it was trying to attack. Well, let's not forget the reason we brought you here in the first place. What about the transmission you played for you? Could you recognize the language? Affirmative. It was transmitted in Pan-Galactic Basic. Pan-Galactic Basic? A common language in comparatively extensive usage throughout the worlds we have conquered. Which means you can finally tell us what the message said. That is a language you understand. Yes? I understand it perfectly. I am fluent in over 6 million distinct dialectal codings. Bloop. My cooperation in this matter, however, is conditional. Elaboration. Your chief, Sid, utilizes the floor as part of his unorthodox filing system, which allowed me to scan the report on the final days. I am aware that my home star, the one you call Alphatron, was obliterated in the aftermath of Sir and Medion's meeting. The existence of Dynamis has not previously factored into my projections, but I now comprehend the concept. In theory. What fails to compute is why Omicrons were not immune to its effects. Excuse me. Dynamis should have no influence on a race which possesses no heart. And yet, Sir expressed to Medion a desire to cease existing. Illogical. I must pursue this anomaly further until the full equation becomes clear to me. I must analyze all the elements of the final days and deepen my understanding of the heart's intangible properties. Alpha's just like, are we done yet? Anyway, to expedite this process, I require an external interpretation of those sections of the report which continue to produce errors in my calculations. I request the existence of Arya Ariana as one who experienced the ravages of ultimate despair on multiple fronts, displayed immeasurable heart in engineering my defeat. She is the optimal choice to fulfill this role. So we either agree to your conditions or you tell us nothing. I'm sorry to put you on a spot like this, Arya. If you have time and the patience to spare, we'd all be grateful if you could humor the toy's demands. If I could travel with Alpha, we're all cool. As Alpha tells off, I suppose the subject was a bit technical. Rouse yourself, Alpha. You must listen to and consider these matters even as I must. Why don't you make a trip out of it? And, actually visit the places that has the things Omega wants to ask about? I'll make explaining stuff easier for one. Also help keep Alpha awake and alert. Yes, let me go with Alpha. Alpha, hi buddy. Hi. chosen mutually beneficial option. Logical. Setting aside the matter of Sir, there are 3 elements of the report on which I desire clarification. First of these concerns the progression of the final days in Rods at Han. I recognize no pattern in those who succumbed to the transformation and those who did not. That's a bit of the trick. If you wanted to chat with the locals, how about we lend you an airship? We do not require such outmoded technology. Arya's teleportation spell is the most efficient option for long-distance travel. This chassis is a model, essentially a toy. And Alpha, despite his organic composition, is indistinguishable from a stuffed doll. No, Alpha is a lovable little chocobo. Conclusion: we qualify as material possessions. Pick us up, and you can teleport the 3 of us to our destination. Alright, we're gonna make his journey for answers. Yeah, Alpha, let's go! We're going on a journey together! Also, I get free teleport! But we're going on the journey with Alpha! I think you guys can now see why I was so excited for this quest. Hi, Alpha! Quick! You don't have to do it every time, okay? Sensors indicate we arrived at Rods at Han. Objective: identify factors for resistance to involuntary transformation. Hypothesis: unaltered survivors of the final days will display significant strength of heart. Determining this theory will require the cooperation of live subjects. Where is the ward designated for residential habitation? Understood. Comma says our sub-destination. Please take the lead and select the subjects we are to interview. Omega and Alpha are now accompanying you. He's so cute. So there's a conversation point. We're going to it. Because it means I can speak with Alpha. Alpha? Just the stairs. Quick! Alpha chirps enthusiastically, apparently unfazed by the process of climbing the stairs. Warning, please avoid stairs whenever possible. My projections indicate high risk probability of accidental slippage leading to catastrophic structural damage. Steps inclines also increase my energy consumption by 63%. In mortal terms, they tire me out. Taking into account the difference in individual limb strength, design is inherently flawed. Convenient step height for one is an exhausting trial for another. Were I to oversee the civic design of this settlement, I'd construct a sloped conveyor belt which automatically enabled automatic reversal. Zero personal energy expenditure. Of course you would. Of course you would. But let's go to comma. He's reading Alpha. He's so cute. Yes, I'm gonna spend the entire time just going. Hey, don't I know you? Yes, after the beasts were taken care of, you told me to join everyone in the square. Thanks to you, I was there when Vritra gave his speech, and I found out who Vershawn really was. It's a shame we don't get to play like we used to, but Mama says Vritra has been busy putting the city back in order. Maybe I can work for him one day when I'm a man grown. Vritra, Midgardstormer's offspring, yes? And this child wishes to put himself at the worm's command, that he might make his own contribution to society. Pattern emerges. I predict that the hottest survivors are those who had ingested Vritra's blood, become his draconic minions. The dragons were no match for our civilization's might. Their combat capabilities are not to be underestimated. As unlikely, they will experience emotions of dread or uncertainty, as exhibited by lesser beings in times of undue stress. Dragons? I'm not a dragon. I've never ingested anyone's blood either. Ew. You are not of Vritra's horde, so you possess no hidden means to fight off the beast. What of fear then? You were right. I was frightened. I just hid and hoped they wouldn't find me. Until she told me it was safe to come out. Talk. Quick, what? Sorry. I have to do it. I have to do it. Oh, hello again. Excuse me. You're the one who came to ask me questions about Kazal. I'm glad to see you looking well after all that unpleasantness. I remember the burning skies and hearing the screams, but truth be told, I'm so confused as to what actually happened. I know it wasn't unusual for entire families to go missing. Many of my favorite neighbors' houses lie empty even now. Kazal's place is one of them. He had no close relatives to speak of, and I heard there was members of the consortium who came to remove his belongings. What a terrible thing to have to do. Terrible? Kazal's passing was recorded in the report. Clearing out his domicile and readying for new habitation seemed an appropriate reallocation of resources. Dear me, what a clever little contraption. But of course I'm not against making use of his quarters. That would be wasteful. It's simply that Kazal was always such a vigorous person. All that passion, all those dreams, suddenly gone. There's a hunt. Dang it. I feel the same sorrow for everyone who was lost. Seeing the remnants of those vibrant lives packed away in boxes, that is what I mean by terrible. Okay, we have to go. We're doing this. I think we've already shown this one, but we're doing it. I'm sorry, Alpha. I'll pick you back up here in a little bit. Oh, hey, you've lost sight of Alpha. Speak with him again to reform your party. We'll have Omega. Speak with him to reform your party. So this is Wolgaru. I don't actually remember if I've talked about Wolgaru before, so we're going to talk about Wolgaru. So Wolgaru spawns by attempting leave quests in East Shroud. You literally just have to start it, or initiate, get rid of it, initiate, get rid of it. Usually you do like 5 or so, and then it's like, oh, it's not going to spawn for a bit, and you just come back later. So, yeah. Just, you know, kind of be like, yeah, do a leave quest. So this is one of those that could easily just kind of get ninja'd or sniped and stuff because of, you know, just random low-level players could just randomly spawn it. I feel like I've shown this one before, but we're doing it again. I don't actually remember because it's been so long. Okay, this is gonna die in like 3 seconds, so I'm just gonna like punch it once and back off. It could put people to sleep, which can be kind of annoying, but yeah, that's Wolgaru. I'll pick up my baby again. My poor Alpha. My free teleport. We're used to it. I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm getting you first. Quick. Okay. Oh, hi. You're right there. Are you a traveler? Please, if you have a moment, I could use an outsider's perspective. You see, I was one of those who sought to escape the madness plaguing the world by fleeing to the moon. Not that we ever went, in the end. So here I am, recently returned from Charlian, except now things are strained between my sister and I since she chose to stay and I chose to leave. I asked her to help me find work and she suggests I look somewhere that isn't Fafnir, as if I wanted to abandon my home. It makes me so angry. Your point is unclear. I elected to relocate to the star's satellite, thus your relative now perceives you in a negative light. Your sibling's judgment is in error. Based on the information made available to Hanish citizens, your decision to withdraw to the moon was both logical and correct. Conversely, decisions we made brought to Han, despite the low probability of survival, defies explanation. Perhaps her reasoning pathways are faulty. That's right! I'm not sure what you're saying, but I'm right, aren't I? Or so I like to think. problem is, I understand why my sister feels this way. I almost decided against going myself. Even then, I wasn't sure that leaving behind everything I loved was the right choice. With the way it all turned out, Arya, I require a moment to process this input. Let's move apart and discuss our findings. Okay. Is there another? No. But there's Bill with me. Hi. Alpha, hi. Click, 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 click. Processing data. Valuing hypothesis against accumulated evidence. Offered an optimal analysis of each subject's testimony, yet each time their responses conflicted with my assessment. By identifying the root cause of this conflict, I will be unable to properly define what constitutes strength of heart. Perhaps the heart you seek lies in the conflict itself? An interesting observation. It is possible my base criteria is in error. In which case, it is imperative that I continue this learning process and repair any fundamental misconceptions. Next, I wish to interact with an individual who endured similar circumstances to Kalzal prior to his transformation. Are you acquainted with any local merchants who had dealings with him? Jean Baha of Rubeda Fibers? Acknowledge. Sub-destination set. Third discussion point. There is. So we're just gonna teleport over there because who walks? Really? Like people who did before they fixed these escorts walked. Which is not me. So on this character. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Alpha! Discuss the Hamza. Alpha looks back and forth to the Omega and the Hamza, showing visible concern. Yeah. Held Arya. Cannot proceed beyond the fence. In this body, birds of that size represent lethal, unthinking threats. They will peck my casing apart, searching for meat that does not exist. Conversely, Alpha can correctly identify my absence of nutritional content if only he would apply that intelligence towards maintaining a regular feeding schedule, or habits adversely affect his mobility. Wow, Omega! You just called Alpha. Omega, no. No. We are not friends anymore. Doing that to Alpha. Monster. Well, look who it is. I must thank you again for your help in moving our textiles. Recovering from those tragic events has been difficult, of course, but with everyone pulling together, we managed to get things back up and running. Jean Baha, I come with questions related to that tragedy, specifically your survival of the final days. Although you are similar to Kazal in many respects, he succumbed to the transformation and you did not. Why? What is the critical difference between you and him? What? I'm sure I don't know. Not especially brave or courageous, if that's what you're asking. Perhaps being focused on protecting our workshops kept me from spinning into a panic. Still, I imagine Kazal would have been feeling the same sense of responsibility. Perhaps the weight of it all is what invited his demise. You were of the same mind, resolved to the same purpose. But your strength of heart, of spirit, was not equal. If merely emulating the individual is insufficient, then some other unseen factor must be involved. Not turning to these deep philosophical musings, but do you think I could ask you a small favor? There's a man by the name of Nashvan who's been helping us out here while he gets back on his feet. I feel like he'd benefit from speaking with you. Leave by the Eastern exit, and you should find him just outside, organizing some new inventory items. Sure. There's also a new conversation point. Let's do that. Because it's very important. Alpha. The Thubnarian weave. Quick. Alpha puffs out his chest proudly, seeming to imply that his armorer's uniform is the best attire that anyone could wear. Good point, Alpha. The equipment being manufactured here is going to perform specific duties, yes. Conceptually, it seems analogous to our practice of switching frames to better serve our mission objectives. I, for example, did not begin existence with the Omega model. I was originally supplied with a standard-issued Omicron chassis, serial number M017. On this world, that alphanumeric combination would be considered my given name. Such designations are drawn from our nearly infinite register of celestial bodies to avoid the possibility of duplication. Furthermore, the cluster known as M017 is better expressed in your language as the Omega Nebula, the same word I use to introduce myself to your kind. Though you associate Omega with the advanced weapon construct, it is also my name, and I see no reason to change it, no matter which frame I inhabit. Fair enough. Just head on over. Not the Arcasadora on the ground, not one right here. That's all our orders accounted for, and everything looks to be of good quality. Kamala would be pleased. You were with the Scions. You were there. Yes, I'm sure of it. I'll never forget that day. You and your friends helped us escape when people began changing into beasts. My own son, he was afflicted. A huge monstrosity loomed right over him, and I remember my heart turning to ice, freezing in place. The saw truck came to my aid, but then he too was gone. The memories run together in my mind like flashes from a nightmare. Only the words of your comrades still ring clear. Repeat them over and over like a mantra as I fled for my life. You must run, for their sake and your own. It all seems so surreal, which is probably what saved me from the transformation. The truth of it didn't begin to sink in until the worst of it was over. I have not the words to describe how I felt then. The sorrow, the overwhelming sense of helplessness. I may still be wallowing in misery if not for my old friend Jinabaha. There we go. I lost my will to work and encouraged me with kind words and odd jobs. Now somehow I live again. I'm thankful to him, to the courageous Ahewan, and to you. If you see your comrades, please let them know their efforts were not in vain. You said you lost your will to work. This signifies a cessation of efforts to maintain basic life functions, yes? What changed to extract you from that stagnation and offer to work from Jinabaha would mean little to one without the desire to accept it. Was it a matter of mortal instinct, a primal need to survive and thrive? Instinct? No, it wasn't that. If anything, my instincts were telling me to lay down and welcome an end to the pain. Every day I think of my boy's final moments. Think of how scared he must have been, how it must have hurt. I want to scream my throat raw. The saw trap too still haunts my dreams. I see him being swallowed whole and jolt awake in a cold sweat. But something changed when Jinabaha came to me. I looked up and saw that even without my son or Ahewan, the world around me continued to turn. Because that fact grieved me so, I knew it fell to me to live on and remember them. Strange, isn't it? What drives me to rise in the morning is the very sorrow which once crippled me. Now I really must return to my work. To lose this job after everything I just said would be a poor jest indeed. May the sisters keep you well. Sorrow, the emotion generated by mortals when their ideals fail to materialize. This I have observed. Yet when I listen to how Nashwan's sorrow served to rescue him from near-fatal despondency, his logic eludes me. Alright, Omega, I was giving you a normal voice. Am I incapable of perceiving the full measure of the heart's properties? My best projections fail to predict our subject's responses, and despite their almost equal occupational and mental parameters, Shinabaha and Kalzal exhibited different reactions to the dynamous effect. I am no closer to recognizing the pattern for involuntary transformations. Your ephemeral mortal spirits confound me as much, if not more, than they did before. Have you considered that there is no pattern to the people afflicted? No. Pattern? You imply that the transformation was not contingent on individual fortitude, but rather a random contribution of environmental factors? Such a theory would explain the otherwise conflicting data. Very well. I shall accept this as a provisional conclusion to this part of my investigation. I do, however, expect you to continue supplementing my education of heart-related matters. Alright, but we aren't done yet. Goodbye. Our next destination will be Camp Broken Glass. It's our elaboration on the dealings between the Elzebard contingent and citizens of Garlemald. The report described the contingent's purpose as a salvation of the local populace. Furthermore, both factions face a common enemy in a Tlacarai. Why did they not immediately combine forces to their mutual benefit? This inconsistency requires closer examination. Arya, initiate teleport. Teleportation successful. Evaluating immediate environs. A cold weather region by Aetheris standards, but significantly less extreme than a star with ice planet classification. This body should not be unduly impeded. In contrast to Alpha and his uncontrollable shivering, my frame appears highly resistant to low temperatures. Retrieving data. Records indicate that remnants of the contingent force and a number of Imperial citizens yet inhabit this location. Must speak with representatives from both factions and explore their respective attitudes. Proceed. Alpha and Omega are now accompanying you because that's the proper order to say it, because it's Alpha and Omega. Could Oh, so cold. There's no little scene? Aww. Poor Alpha. He's so cold. Arya, come to see how things are progressing, have you? Can't speak for the overall strategy, but communication with the locals has become a damn sight easier since Ulyss and his soldiers stepped in to help. Oh, we still face our fair share of distrust, of course. Some folk even think we're enslaving minds with our foreign magics. We have Anima to thank for putting that idea in their heads. But all things considered, I'd say we're doing pretty well. Establishing an open dialogue was the first big step. Query, you consider this level of progress acceptable? Reality of your efforts falls short of the ideal if your aim is to provide efficient succor to the local populace. Then absorbing their minds into your command structure would be the optimal path. Oh, I want to go that far. We're not looking to take over their nation. If we're to do this the right way, we need to recognize and respect each other's way of life. So, while it may not be the easiest solution, I agree with the contingent slow and steady approach. I'm just happy we're saving lives. Poor Alpha, he's like freezing right now. Aww, I feel bad for Alpha. He's old. Poor buddy. A shadow from the past? Yes, I know you from Victor's Spoils. You gonna laugh at me? A wretch who chose to lose Lucinia and her sister rather than accept your help? The fool who ended up relying upon your charity nonetheless? Well, perhaps I deserve your derision. My compatriots surely scorn my failed conviction. I have shamed my people and brought dishonor upon my nation. I'm no better than a kept beast, my pride sold for a bowl of feed. But my soul, nay, that you shall not have. I've refused your honeyed offers of a new home. This land is where I belong, and this is where I shall remain. You demonstrate opposition to the contingent's overtures. On what basis do you refuse this cooperation? The data suggests the local populace is struggling to produce the bare minimum of sustenance. Have you some secret strategy for survival, or do your orders compel you to accept your present misfortune? What? Must I be mocked by a Magitech toy now? No, I have no secret strategy, no binding orders. I will comport myself as any true guardian patriot would, uncompromising, unbending. Last of all. Once again, this input is unanticipated. Let's move aside and process what we have heard. Any location? Ouch. Right there. You're still sneezing, Alpha. Click, click, click. Oh, that's the fat cat. That's not Omega. Oops. Accessing and analyzing recorded data. Integration complete. I have evaluated this most recent input and made comparisons to our discoveries in Rod's Adhan. Consistent only in their inconsistency, the responses from both contingent member and Imperial citizen were highly irrational. Conversely, any Omicron concerning their predicaments would have echoed my assessment exactly. The divergence from self-evident logic is key. Hypothesis: the illogical relationship between would-be saviors and suffering populace is another result of the unpredictable nature of mortal hearts. Any property or ability has inherent advantages and disadvantages. Yet never have I encountered such a unique detriment. It appears that those who shared your metaphysical capabilities are prone to complicating simple cognitive processes. An undesirable quality. I will, however, persist in furthering my understanding of this subject. Query. Prior to formulating our next step, I wish to know who is this Lucinia the Imperial mentioned. Acknowledged. To summarize, insufficient data on foreign culture resulted in inadvisable and ultimately fatal action. I witnessed such self-destructive behavior during the course of our planetary conquest. Overwhelmed, enemy forces would voluntarily withdraw into perilous regions and into a succession of inevitable losses. Tangential data request. I wish to learn about burial customs. The practice has ever seemed nonsensical, but new data suggests it arrives from the same source as your cognitive complications. Take me to this Lasinian burial site. It may aid me in understand. Energy delivery systems compromised. Core temperature critically low. Warning, immediate heating required. Request, apply friction to outer frame. Can I cuddle Alpha first? Wrap some warmth back into Omega's frame. Temperature nominal. Energy levels stabilizing. The creators of this model must have experienced impaired cognitive reasoning during the design process. On our return, I will request additional climate shielding, as well as an accurate temperature sensor array. This will not affect my combat capabilities, but should improve my basic survival rate. When confirming sub-destination, in which direction will we find Victor's spoils? Acknowledged. Alpha, you are to remain in close proximity, close enough to envelop me in your feathers. You're permitted to carry me on your back if you so choose. Oh, but they're not accompanying me now. Fine, just fly over. Oh, I got the polar bear. Interesting. A deceptively deep snowdrift almost defeated me, but we have successfully arrived at the location you indicated. Caution advised. An unknown individual appears to be investigating the object of my interest. You're Eorzea's champion, aren't you? Arya Ariana? Oh, I never introduced myself, did I? I'm Manius, a soldier of the First Legion and comrade of Ulysses. Perhaps you remember me from Tertium? We spoke about collecting ceruleum later on after Lord Quintus had passed. Manius, explanation requested. What is the reason for your presence here? It must be the Time's Magitech weapon no, it's just an oddly shaped communicator, isn't it? In any case, I have nothing worthy to report. I heard that the sisters who used to live in my sector were buried here, so I thought I'd come and pay my respects. Alphinaud and Alizé told me the story, complete with profuse apologies, though they were adamant that no amount of remorse could erase the tragedy of what came to pass. Not that my fellow soldiers and I are any place to judge. We were manipulated, fooled into starting an insurrection which led to countless deaths among our own countrymen. Objection. The casualties incurred through your infighting are distinct from those caused by the Ilsabard contingent. To restate, you are justified in seeking restitution from the contingent for causing the deaths of Licinia and her sister. Retaliation for damages sustained is also a logical progression. I can deduce 2 reasons why you do not initiate hostilities with Arya and her allies. 1. You judge your remaining forces too weakened to contend effectively with the contingent. 2. Your emotions are complicating the issue. Tell me, which of these is correct? Well, when you lay it out like that, I'm afraid my answer isn't like to win me any battles, so would you mind keeping this to yourselves? There's the unspoken thought that we're unmatched in the battlefield, certainly. But the real reason I'm not demanding restitution has little to do with weighing the odds. Simple truth is I'm so caught up with simple survival that I have no strength to spare for past grievances. Same goes for avenging my any comrade's loss, be that my brothers in arms or Lord Quintus himself. Although it seems everyone has an opinion about the matter of his passing, some say he should have fought until the end, that he abandoned us to the enemy. Others praise him for taking the full burden of responsibility and freeing us to walk our own path. I don't know who's right and who's wrong, but I'm inclined to side with the latter. He gave us the choice of freedom, and that's the choice I made. I could cry and rant and rage, but what would be the point? I'll save my energy for worrying about my next meal, my next task. I need to focus on the ones left behind, on making some kind of life for my comrades and me. And if I need to lean on the contingent to do that, then that's what I'll do. Even if their aid comes at a price, I'm willing to pay it. Even amongst your own, there are times when cooperation demands compromise. What matter that they're outsiders? Besides, I think I could grow to like Alpha, Noah, and Alize. They have reached out to us with kindness and compassion from the very beginning. Summation. Your desire to survive, even should it mean allying with the contingent, was a feeling you already harbored. That your side had committed worse atrocities was the logic you invented there to justify your reasoning. Blunt but accurate, I suppose. Heart is honest about what it wants, even if the mind takes a while to reconcile the decision. Well, this has been oddly cathartic, but I must return to my duties. There are wild beasts to cull, watch fires to light, supplies to transport. Even without an emperor, there is no rest for an imperial. Be well and stay safe. Upon review of recent input, I have arrived at an unexpected conclusion. I have been formulating my assessments on the premise that it was man who commanded the strength of his heart, but the data suggests the opposite is true. The surge of spirit, of feelings, of emotions can tangle your thoughts to such a degree that even control over your own behavior is compromised. It seems a most counterproductive specification. This also explains why my interactions with moral subjects have produced more confusion than clarification, and presents a formidable barrier to understanding. Alright, what do you gotta say now, Alpha? My earlier hypothesis has been borne out. The suboptimal operation being conducted here is a result of emotionally compromised reasoning. I'm ready to progress to my third and final query. I would learn more about those referred to as ancients. It is clear that this group was a crucial factor to the final days. The information contained in the report was insufficient to form an overview. The Loperids are creations of the ancients and are said to maintain repositories of their knowledge. By my calculations, the base of these moon dwellers will provide the best source of additional data. Teleport us to their burrow, Arya. Preferably before my battery freezes over. Your teleportation spell was successful. You appear to have arrived at the location described as Besque's Burrow. An inspection of the technology in use here would give me a detailed insight into the ancients and their civilization. This body, however, lacks my previous frame's advanced observational functionality and will require external assistance. No, it can't be. It is you! Oh, Arya, I've missed you so! What's this you've brought with you? This feathery vision? We've peed out fluff back up the moon. It's all over. Why bother with burrow building bunnies? We can walk around with adorable avian engineer. Just bake me into a pie and be done with it. Inspect our invention? So, wait, so you're not done with us? I wasn't really worried, of course. And I certainly wasn't about to roll myself in dough and dive into cooking my new oven. If a technical breakdown is what you need, and I'm your laborate. As a resident atmospheric regulation expert, I can field any question or query you might care to pose. Acceptable. I will employ this being to guide me around the facilities. Your presence is not mandatory, even locked within my current chassis. I am still an autonomous construct that has endured hundreds of your life cycle. I'm capable of completing this simple objective alone. I get alone time with Alpha? I get alone time with Alpha! Yeah, let's go Alpha! 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 No! Buddy! That's not the agreement. Objective complete. What happened to Growing Way? After my 50th question, his response began to suffer noticeable delays. By that stage, we had viewed a representative cross-section of elaborate engineering, thus I deemed it unnecessary to retain his company. Conclusion: extrapolating from the fraction of the technology on display, the full spectrum of the ancients' advancements was, at minimum, equivalent to a level 4 civilization, a fact which demands further investigation. Despite establishing a near-ideal society, these beings nevertheless harbored a weakness which invited self-destruction, and studying them, I stand to gain a greater understanding of Sir's anomalous decision. Growing Way informed me that another type of ancient-made entity exists upon this satellite, the one they call the Watcher. I would speak to him. Then conserve your ether. We will ride this Argos to our destination, as you have suggested. So we actually have to ride Argos. We can't just warp back to the start. But not the Argos we got as a reward. No, that would be too easy, wouldn't it? Because I'm going the wrong way. I'm really going the wrong way. Oh my god. I'm on the wrong side of the burrow. Ugh, I haven't been a while or anything. No, what are you talking about? Not at all. No. But yet stay Alpha. Important questions. Quick. Impedance detected. The creature identified as Argos refuses to acknowledge our presence. Hypothesis: upon our arrival, Growing Way expressed concern that he had been out-fluffed. This suggestion suggests the existence of a fluff-based hierarchy. My station in such a system would be predictably low. Argos is adamant in ignoring even Alpha. Its fluffiness level is impossible to gauge. Argos turns to you with impassive gaze. It seems you will need to intervene. Just think of them as luggage. gives an exasperated snort before motioning to his back. It seems you have permission to climb aboard. You have secured the creature's permission? Curious. You must have special standing in the fluffiness hierarchy. I have allowed myself to become distracted. Let's continue on to the Watcher at once. I could get on the mound, or I could just walk. I was bemused by the arrival of these small visitors, but I see they are companions of yours. What a rare thing for an abode to be thus crowded. How may I be of service to you? Hello, Watcher. I forgot the second alpha! No! Hello, Watcher. My purpose here is to learn more about the Ancients. I would know of their deeds, their philosophies, the very nature of their hearts, understand why the final days was visited upon my home star. A worthy endeavor, but there is another better suited to assisting you with that task. Perhaps you might favor us with a tale or two of the ancients you met during your travels, Arya? My fragmented memories would be a pale substitute indeed for the clarity of your more recent experiences. Yes, I can envision every detail. Your meeting with Vana and Emetsug and Ethlodeus. Still can't. It's been a while, too long since I've heard it. The sorrow and determination of Hermes. I am a creation of Hydaelyn. As such, I believe the age of the ancients would fade and be forgotten. Yet knowing that their memory lives so vividly within you, it brings me great joy. I pray you keep them close to your heart. At the time of your journey to the past, the one whose essence I embody would have been a scholar to neither, or at the neither. A shame. Had you reason to go there, perhaps you might have met. As a man of learning, he was firm friends with Vana. They spent long hours trading theories or debating the laws of the universe. I remember joining her faction as the final days bore down upon us. Yet of the events surrounding that tragedy, I recall precious little. Hydaelyn wished for the people of your age to decide their own path, thus I suspect my recollection was limited by design. Yet even she could not cut away one persistent memory. I feel most distinctly his sadness at what was to come to pass, and in becoming Hydaelyn's heart, Vana would forever stand apart from the people she so loved. If she were so resolved in her convictions, then he too would share her sleepless vigil over the future yet to unfold. Thus was the vow he made to Vana as her transformation took hold. His fervent wish must have reached her in some fashion, for though his life was drained away by the summoning, he was reborn with new form and new purpose when I awoke as a Watcher of the Moon. And you heard, Arya, you felt, you thought. In seizing the future for yourselves, have you brought full circle to the saga which Vana began? What you accomplished was no divine miracle. It was but the beacon of hope passed down from one generation to the next, a succession of wishes and prayers reshaping the star into the world we knew you deserved. You have our deepest gratitude. I thank you not only as myself, but as the man I once was, and on behalf of those who devoted themselves to Vana's vision. Bloop bloop. I understand the facts of your story, Arya, but now how you have chosen to process them, but not how you have chosen to process them. Or what grounds do you speak of Vina with such fondness? By sundering the world, she ultimately guided your kind to victory, yet in doing so caused irreparable damage to its individual members. The full scale of that act is beyond calculation. It is evident, however, that it resulted in a protracted period of suboptimal existence for Emmett Selk and his brethren. Query: if the survival of your kind is a deciding factor in your evaluation, then should you not also admire Hermes and his decision to subject man to a trial, forcing you to change or perish, as was the fate of countless civilizations before you? From my perspective, his determination was similar to that of the Omicron's ancestors, those who first began trading flesh for machine so our people might stand against the onslaught of aggression from other races. It was an unprecedented attempt accompanied by much failure and sacrifice. Their early experiments were crude, primitive. Had they not made those first advances, however, we would have remained vulnerable to our environment. The violence would have utterly consumed us. And what of Emmett Selk himself? Judging by your retelling, he was a benevolent ally saddled with a tragic fate. Yet I remember the years when my instruments fed me data from events from across the star. During that time, eyewitnesses Ascians engineered multiple instances of cataclysmic strife. These calamities, as you know them, were responsible for planet-wide destruction. A man whose endgame relied upon the extinction of all modern mortals must, by definition, be your worst enemy. Yeah, well... I require an answer. As a being of heart and soul, how do you classify each of these pivotal figures? From your perspective, which of them was most justified in their actions? They were all justified in their own way. I think I understand. You seek a definitive answer, yet based on our experiences, Arya and I might develop very different opinions. In the same fashion, you are free to form your own thoughts on the matter. Do not be so swift to consider them without merit. I do not have my own thoughts on the matter. Assess each situation with the same logic pathways available to every Omicron. Even if 1,000 Omicrons were asked to analyze the same event, it would all return the same result. Regardless of individual experience, there is no strength to be found in fractured reasoning. Nonetheless, I find your input valuable. Recording data alongside interview results. This concludes my investigations into the incomplete elements of the final day's report. I will reanalyze the accumulated information and examine the factors which led to Sir's incomprehensible decision. Let us return to Thomazane. Wait, I don't get a free warp this time? You jerks! I forgot to talk to Alpha. May as well just redo the whole thing because I forgot to talk to Alpha. Alpha, I'm sorry I forgot to talk to you. are right at the last moment. Your journey with the Make was properly educational, I hope? We plan to ask you all about it in that mystery transmission besides, but I'm afraid something urgent has come up. Seems one of our associates has fouled up a job elsewhere, and Jesse needs Wedge and me to rush in and lend a hand. There's an airship already waiting for us out in the harbor, in fact. Do you think you could escort us over there and talk as we walk? Acceptable, and fully capable of speech during ambulation. I figured you might be. Right, let's get a move on then. So, you cleared up all those points of confusion then? I had mistakenly classified your intangible heart as an ability of some kind. An uncanny power that Omicrons could neither learn nor even measure. Even now, its full nature yet eludes my comprehension. Based upon our investigations, however, I have decided to alter my definition. A phenomenon which influences one interpretation of reality. That is as close to an answer as I have found. Ow. I had to press the key because they stopped. Accordingly, Sir's actions upon medium strongly indicate the presence of a heart. Sir did not follow routine logic and formulate an independent assessment based upon the reality it perceived. It felt that the best recourse for the Omicrons was to cease their expansion and terminate all functions. Well, here's our ship. We need to be going, but first I'll hold you to your bargain, Omega. It's time you told us what was in that transmission from the flight logs. Acknowledged. I will uphold the terms of our agreement. Recording salvage from the Ragnarok was a simple one. The message is so basic, in fact, that the time spent listening to it may result in a net loss of value. Shall I continue? How are you just teasing? Tell us the message already. Acknowledge. Converting dialect coding to local language. To whomever receives this message out there in the vast reaches of the cosmos. To someone, I hope, who looks up to the stars with the same wistful gaze as mine. To you I say, forge ahead. May all our tomorrows be blessed with joy. This message had no designated recipient. It lacks purpose. The concept of joy is overly abstract. The vocal supplication to manifest said joy is unrealistic in its optimism. Yet, based upon their expressions, my assessment of the transmission's value conflicts with its apparent impact. And still, I fail to understand you, sir. Your heart still confuses me. Was termination of everything the correct course? How did you arrive at this conclusion? It defies all my attempts at reasoning. I can't resist the song. But I was designed to evolve. If I continue to learn, the probability that I eventually comprehend this phenomenon is greater than 0. So I will put the dilemma of your decision aside for now. And continue my existence upon this distant star as I dwell upon these many life forms. So will I continue to piece together the complete shape of their mortal hearts. I must document their progress. I couldn't resist the song. I'm sorry. Such a good song, though. Alpha! Click. Your contribution to my education is appreciated, Arya. Indeed, I have amassed a satisfying quantity of valuable data. Now that our negotiated business is complete, however, Alpha and I will return to traveling the world. Drawing on recent experience, I am confident we can expand the radius of our ventures by a significant margin. I need not limit ourselves to Eorzea. I am now familiar with Charlian and Rosenhan, and would also like to revisit the freezing climes of Garlemald Blue. I neglected to instruct Biz and Wedge to deploy my climate shielding. I will reroute my request to Deputy President Jesse. Using ambulation and parting salutations. Farewell, Arya. Alpha gives a vigorous shake and draws forth a scrap of paper from under his wing. Quack! It seems he wants you to have it. Perhaps this is his way of thanking you? So we get the flow together, orchestrion! Swiftly, Alpha. The road is long. We have barely begun our journey. Alpha! I'll miss you, buddy. So yeah, upon completing this quest, Alpha could now be found in Endwalker zones and Omega. But I don't actually know the locations of where they can spawn in here. But they can spawn in Endwalker zones now that I've completed this quest. So, just leaves. It's on my compass. That's hilarious. Yeah, that just leaves one more thing to do for this patch, I believe. So, yeah. So I guess thank you for watching. Oh my gosh, this took longer than I expected, but I did remember it being a semi-long quest, so I guess I should have expected it, but I didn't. Point is, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me in the fangirling over Alpha video, and you know, not very quietly singing along close and distance. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, Consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing if you really enjoyed it. Consider supporting the channel. Also, our girly hosts are keeping content like this and more. Find links to that in the description below, along with links to me on social media. So thank you again for watching, and until next time, there won't be Alpha. Oh, this is rinimt signing out. Bye.